Alex had been living with severe epilepsy for years. Despite trying various medications and treatments, the unpredictable and intense seizures continued to disrupt his life. His neurologist recommended a callosotomy as a last resort to control the seizures. A callosotomy involves the surgical division of the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum is the bundle of nerve fibers that connects the two hemispheres of the brain. This procedure is usually considered when other treatment options, such as medication, have not effectively controlled the severe epilepsy. This surgery aims to prevent the spread of abnormal electrical activity between the brain hemispheres, and therefore reduce the severity and frequency of seizures. After careful consideration, Alex underwent the surgery. All went successful, and the procedure reduced his frequency and severity of his seizures. Unfortunately, it brought an unexpected and disturbing new challenge: alien hand syndrome. As Alex recovered from the surgery, his left hand began to move independently, seemingly with a mind of its own. At first, it was comical. Alex would reach for a glass with his right hand while his left hand would snatch it away. That hand would unbutton shirts when Alex was trying to tie his shoelaces, and it occasionally knocked over objects without warning. As days turned into weeks, Alex's frustration grew. The alien hand's actions weren't just amusing anymore. They were interfering with his daily activities and causing moments of embarrassment in public. Simple tasks became arduous battles of willpower, as Alex's left hand seemed determined to mess up his intentions. This affliction was actually depicted in the famous Stanley Kubrick film Dr. Strangelove, but it is a very real problem. This condition was first noticed back in 1908 by a scientist named Kurt Goldstein. He wrote about a woman who had a stroke affecting her left side. Even after she got better, her left arm seemed like it had a mind of its own and did things she didn't want it to do. Alex's story is a reminder of how complex our brains are, and even with the best of intentions, sometimes medical treatments can lead to unexpected and even disturbing results. In 1923, a French psychiatrist named Joseph Capgras described an encounter he had with a woman that he named Madame Macabre. Madame Macabre actually thought that doubles had taken the place of her husband and other people she knew. Capgras and his colleague Raybaud-Lechaud originally called this syndrome illusion des sources, which basically means the illusion of doppelganger. Madame Macabre was so staunch in her belief that her husband was not actually her husband that she filed for divorce from him. She was quite sure her true husband had been murdered. She also reportedly believed that there must be a double of herself out there somewhere as well. Another case of Capgras syndrome occurred in the 1990s. A 74-year-old married housewife, given the name Mrs. D for her privacy, had been to the local hospital for her first psychiatric stay. She was wanting to have a second opinion. She believed that her husband had been swapped with another man. She refused to share her bedroom with this imposter, and even locked up at night and actually asked her son for a gun for her protection. She even ended up fighting with the police when they tried to hospitalize her. It's very strange because she could easily recognize other family members, but only her husband would get mixed up in her mind. At first, psychiatrists thought this was just a mental disorder, perhaps related to schizophrenia, and mostly seen in women, and considered a part of hysteria. But now we know it is not actually limited to women or purely psychiatric causes. It was not until the 1980s that attention turned to the usually coexisting brain lesions. which previously were thought to be unrelated or just coincidental. Today, the Capgras syndrome is understood as a neurological disorder, the delusion resulting from these organic brain lesions or degeneration. Jules Catard was a French neurologist working at a university hospital in Paris in the late 19th century. One day, he encountered a 43-year-old woman with a peculiar affliction. She believed that she had no brain, nerves, or any internal organs. In her mind, she was truly a walking corpse, forever damned to suffer without the relief of death. And she claimed that she would remain this way, perpetually undead unless she is burnt in a fire. Catard gave this woman the name Mademoiselle X to protect her identity. Because Mademoiselle X believed herself to be already dead, she also believed there was no need for her to eat. Jules Catard watched this woman die, not to the fire she requested, but to her own self-inflicted starvation. Catard labeled this condition négation du vivant, or negation of life. Catard's syndrome, as it is now called, is a rare and severe psychological disorder, and it's characterized by the belief that one is dead, or does not exist, or has lost their organs or body parts. The symptoms of Catard's syndrome can vary in intensity, and they may include nihilistic beliefs. Individuals with Catard's syndrome may hold delusional beliefs that they are dead, do not exist, or that their body is decaying. In essence, to them, life is meaningless. They may also experience emotional numbness. People with this syndrome often report feeling emotionally disconnected and detached from the world around them. They may also experience self-neglect, neglecting personal hygiene, nutrition, and general self-care due to their belief that they are actually deceased or non-existent. And one final thing they may experience is hallucinations. Some individuals with Catard syndrome may experience auditory or visual hallucinations related to their delusion. For example, a 50-year-old man with Catard syndrome believed he was dying and that his arm had been cut off and ground up. In another case, a 35-year-old woman believed her brain was rotting and reported that she could feel worms crawling around in her brain. None of this was true, of course, and even when presented with proof that their brain had no worms on brain scans or showing that the arm is still attached to the body, the patients would still not believe. The exact cause of Catard syndrome is not fully understood, but it's been associated with various conditions, including severe depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, brain injury, and other neurological disorders.